Player. Victoria. You don't do this to fat people. Girl, I said I was going to share with y'all. I play spades. I'm a renege. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Big Drew right here. Big Drew Food Reviews. This is our first show, y'all. What's happening? Shout out to Lake County Media Group. Shout out to True Conglomerate Studios. We are right here live. At least I'm live. You guys will see this later. But let's get the show on the road. Let's go. All right, what's up, everybody? Y'all heard a lot about me, man, but enough about me. I have a wonderful guest with me today, so I need all of y'all to put your hands together right now, show some love, give it up for Victoria's Desserts, y'all. What's up, V? Can I call you V?
Yeah, it's
fine. Victoria, what do you go by, though?
So I go by Victoria.
Okay, Victoria. Yeah. I'm going to call you V. I like to give nicknames, you know what I'm saying? And it's easy for me, because if I call you V, then I won't forget Victoria. You won't be looking at me all crazy. We ain't got to fight after the show. You know what I'm saying?
Well, appreciate it.
But welcome to Big Drew's Food Reviews.
Thank you. And it's the first show.
This is the first show. You're special, girl.
Okay.
Number one, you get a Happy Meal. Yes. Listen, so I got a few questions for you, right? So the first one, we'll just start out the gate. What inspired your passion for baking?
I want to say my grandma. I used to just bake with my grandma. Like, we used to be in the kitchen, me and my grandma. And then a couple years ago, she passed away. Oh. And so I kind of just took that and ran with it. I didn't initially start my business. I kind of was just like doing baked desserts just for like family and friends.
Yeah.
And then over time, my people were kind of just like, you don't sell none of your stuff. And I'm like, nah, I ain't never really thought about it.
Yeah.
And then they were a little bit more persistent. Like, they would try something like a different day. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, you sure you don't want to sell nothing? And I'm like, nah. Like, I kind of just wanted to keep it like within my family, within my friends type of situation. But then over time, they kind of was hounding me about it. I'm like, let me try it out. Let me just try it out. Since y'all, it's kind of like, just so y'all can shut up, I'm going to do it. So right. I ended up doing like a combo on Valentine's Day back in 2020. Okay. And it took off from there.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just kind of haven't looked back.
Okay. So what would you say, because you say you started off because of your friends and your family.
Yeah.
And we hear the stigma here in Lake County sometimes that the people that you're friends with, your family, they are usually not the ones that support you, but usually people that kind of walk in on what you're doing. They give you the most support. So you've got a different type of background with that. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I feel, honestly, I think it goes both ways. I think once you start to get to a certain level, your friends and family kind of fall in line too. Like, usually if they would come, they'll kind of be hoping you give them a discount.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for you to offer. Or, and that's another thing with small businesses that I would rather book with a small business, because we can do stuff like that. We can discount. We can add stuff to your order. We can do stuff and not charge. Versus other bakeries or other places that have overhead, that have all these expenses that are going to charge you. So I got both. I got the support from my friends and family, but it hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
There's been some times where, I think you just kind of have to remember that not everybody is going to see your vision or your business as an official business, because you don't have a location, because you don't have certain things. Until once it starts to blow up, then they're like, oh, wow, like this is very serious. Like, yeah. So I got both. Don't get me wrong. I did have some instances where I had to, kind of check, but yeah, I would get support from both ways. So.
Okay. So what would you say some of the difficulties on starting up would be?
I think time management's a big one. I think you kind of think you have all this time, and then time just flies by and you haven't even done nothing. And I would say just being able to manage everything all by yourself, because I do everything. I do the social media. I do, placing the orders, doing the deliveries, doing that one-on-one contact with my customers. Wow. So I do it all. So it gets a lot and it gets frustrating. That's why some people don't realize small business, we do a lot more than what you see. That's why I'm starting to do videos of the behind the scenes, where I'm up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning trying to make sure that you guys get, just to make sure I'm on time the next day.
Yeah.
Because then, we're waking up, we don't got no hours of sleep. And then now we're rushing and running, trying to make sure that we get to your event on time, but also that we provide you with the best product that we can. So there's a lot that happens that you guys don't see. But it builds character.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times, a lot of people want to see the end result. They want to see the congratulations. They want to see, you making so much money. They want to see all this stuff, but they don't realize you have to. A lot of it is in the hustle. It's in the grind. It's in the behind the scenes. 90% of it is that.
Right.
So when you fall in love with that, then I feel like that's when you really start to love what you do, and it doesn't become a chore.
That's good. That's good. Give me one funny kitchen story.
You know what? Y'all would think it's funny, but it's not funny for me because I think it's because, like, say you're going through a good or a rough day, right? Or even a good day, and you're getting done with everything, and then something just falls, and you like anything, a decoration, a drink, your coffee on the ground. So I think it's just, you guys would see that as, like, if I were to record, it'd be funny. But for us, we're like, now we got to clean that up. I'm going to see that for the next 6 months in my kitchen, cleaning that up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would say that. I would just say the funny things. I would say that I try to be more happy. That's why a lot of times when you're a small business owner, you need to take time off for yourself because it can become a chore. So when you do take time off for yourself and then you come back to the kitchen, it's like, wow, like, I missed this. Like, I missed my passion. I missed doing this.
So you talked about starting your business February 2020.
Yeah.
And we know 2020 is the year of the pandemic.
Man.
So what were some of the struggles and triumphs that you can say you went through starting a business in 2020?
Yeah, starting, not like how I have it now, where it's like, there is some structure. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's because, number one, I had to deliver everything. So everything I had to go house to house to house. So I had to build a whole route just for that day. But I want to say it was really hard. I didn't realize how long things took. So instead of me being like, okay, this is gonna take an hour and a half, it was taking out like 3 to 4 hours. And I didn't realize I wouldn't even eat some of those days. Oh, wow. And so there was one time I do remember I was on the road and I'm in the route. And I was drinking some water. Mind you, I didn't eat all day. I'm drinking some water, and I had to pull over and throw up because my body was regurgitating it because I didn't eat all day that day. Wow. So it's like different things like that a lot of people don't realize. Like during COVID, it was hard. It was stressful. And then on top of that, I'm a very people person. I love the one-on-one interaction. I love building relationships. And that's what COVID kind of like, you had to kind of work around it. You had to, take pictures like I was Amazon and send it to you and let you know your order's outside. And, so there was those different struggles, but I do want to say I did realize in 2020 that a lot of people were supporting small businesses. You would see people that wouldn't even go to the store and they would just be ordering and and they'll hear you like that and then they'll hop on, and it was nice to see the support get to a level that it's like, wow, wow, it as a small business owner, it felt appreciated. Even though I was in my starting stages, it was just like, wow, like a lot of people see the pandemic as, things of that rough that came out of it, but there was a lot of good things that came out the pandemic as well. That's true. So it's not easy, but I do love now that we're able to build the relationships, and I'm able to have these one-on-one, and I'm able to for me it's never been transactional. It's always been relational when it comes to my business. So there'll be times where I make your cake and I'm attending your party. That's dope. So it's more than just a transaction. I feel like that's the difference between me and other businesses, is that it's not about the money. If I didn't get paid another $1 to make a brownie, I would still make it. Wow. So it's different that you have to realize, like, when it's a passion and when people are doing it just because. And a lot of people will do the next big thing just because they'll get some money off it. But like I said, not all business is good business. That's real. But at the same time, like, when you find something that you love to do, you'll always make money. So that's why for me, it's never been about the money. It's never been about, oh, let me try to get this much sales. It's going to come. Especially when you're good at what you do, people love what you do, and you become an expert at what you do. You're always going to be in business, no matter what, no matter if the pandemic hit, no matter what it is. And also, when you do have God in the mix, it's always going to work out. It don't matter if the economy crashes tomorrow. Preach, sister. My books will still be booked and busy. So it just depends on where your faith lies as well. Because there was a lot of times I did want to give up. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of times that I broke down crying multiple times because I was stressed out, because I didn't have the help, or I felt overwhelmed just with people ordering, and I had to decline. So yeah, so when you know like the core of your business, like I said, you're always gonna take off.
That's
always.
good. That's good. So you aspiring bakers out there, you
Yeah.
aspiring chefs out
Yeah.
there, you want to start your own restaurant.
Hello.
She's telling you right now that, hey, it's some hard work
Man.
to do this thing, but if you're true to it, if you really
Yeah.
want to do it,
Yeah.
if you're passionate about it,
Yeah.
if it's part of your purpose,
Come on.
if you keep doing it,
Talk
if
to
you
me.
keep the faith, right,
Yeah.
then you can succeed at this thing. Every day ain't
Yeah.
gonna be sunny. It's gonna be some rainy days. It's gonna be some
Man.
clouds. Gonna be some storms. But you got to keep moving forward
Yeah.
so you can get to those great days. All right.
Yeah.
And then
1000%.
this is what I heard. And it ain't about the money, y'all.
It ain't.
You ain't just going, this ain't no get rich quick scheme, okay?
Come on.
You have to put some dirt, you got to put some work in.
Yeah.
You got to get dirty in this thing.
Yeah,
and
you
then you come up at the end, okay?
Yeah.
So we're talking to a lot, maybe people that want to start businesses, right? That want
Yeah.
to start restaurants and
Yeah.
bakeries and all type of things. What would you say some of the misconceptions people have about starting a business?
That you need a business plan. I ain't have no business plan. I didn't have no business plan, no capital for the business. I didn't have all the intricacies that people will say you need before you start something. Even when I bought my house, I didn't know how to buy a house. My dad would call me. He wouldn't even say hello. He would call me and say, have you looked at houses? So sometimes you got to walk out in faith. Sometimes you got to, you know what? God gave me a vision, or God gave me this passion for a reason. Let me just go ahead and walk out. Yeah. I don't know the intricacies. I don't know how, when, where, who it's going to happen. But when you really just step out in faith and you do what you love and it's coming from the heart, it's going to succeed. It has no reason. Even when things come your way, it can't touch you. Like, it can't touch the business. That's why a lot of businesses that, you know, God has been in the mix, have you realized they haven't failed? Have you realized that they're still right now? They're still in work.
No matter what.
So, I don't know. I just want to preach sometimes.
Preach.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Like, this is hard. I don't know. You know, people will look at this and be like, oh, it's just cake. It's not just cake. Do you know the ingredients in inflation? Let's talk about inflation for a second. Inflation on top of that. And still, I really haven't even changed my pricing.
Wow.
So that's how you know that it's like, even when, like I said, when God's in the mix, it's going to go, because I really haven't even changed my pricing. The only thing that I went up on a little bit was delivery. That's it. That's all. And, you know, and I'm using ingredients. Nothing's pre-made. Nothing's pre-bought. Nothing is, you know what I'm saying? Everything is from scratch. Like I told you, I made these today.
Yeah.
In the morning.
I can't wait to try them joints either.
So, it's hard, but it's rewarding. Especially, there was one time I was delivering a cake recently, and I was delivering to a little girl. It's her birthday. And when I walked in, I put the cake on the table. This other little girl was like, oh my God, it's so pretty.
Oh.
Like, just for her.
That messed you up. Yeah.
You know, and even on my way here, one of my friends, she messaged me. She reached out to me last minute for like an engagement cake for her best friend. Oh, wow. And it was a 2-tiered. So, you know, 2-tiers a lot more work. So, but I was like, you know what? Like, don't worry about it. I got it. I'll take care of it for you. And when she messaged me on my way here, she sent me pictures of the couple that's getting married. And it's like moments like that. Like, thank you so much for, you know, go above and beyond. Because a lot of times if you go reach out to a bakery, they're like, no, we're booked out so far. We can't accommodate. But a lot of times we do the accommodation for you. Yeah. And like I said, even a lot of my people are last minute. I'm last minute. So, you know, I feel like I specialize in it at this point, to be honest with you. But yeah, so that's why, you know, when you do what you love, it's gonna always work out. Even if you don't think, you know, your bank account don't look like how is it gonna work out? Oh, it'll work out. Because I'm telling you, 3 years later, and I'm still, you know. And the thing is that it's never the same when I first started. You see the progress, you see the progression, you see like, wow, like even how I walk, how I talk, like it's different, you know. And a lot of times people, you kind of have to move with the times. Right. But it's like you don't always have to adapt to different culture. You should be your own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what separates me from other bakeries or even small businesses. And it's not a bad thing. Everybody should have something that separates you, just like you. You know, there's something that separates you from other people who are doing who do reviews or you know. So, but it's you though. Yeah. People will tune in because it's you. So that's why for me it's like, my work is expensive, and you know I charge my worth. as I should, but
As you should.
you know, but people are still gonna order. I'm still booked out months in advance because it's me though.
Yeah.
You know, and not a lot of people would do that.
That's good.
So, but I mean, you know, the food matches the price. You know, some people will charge so much, and the food don't match.
Let's talk about that.
Hold on, how is your food so expensive, but it don't? It ain't even a hit. And then I kind of then you know
I've
you have to
had
tell them like, oh, you know, I don't like it, but
and they don't want to hear it sometimes.
come on. Like, sometimes you got to take that and run with it because not everybody's palate is going to be the same.
Man.
Just like your palate might not be the same with my desserts and vice versa.
And I agree, but I think there's a difference between a palate being a little different and something just being awful.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I think that, I'm going to be honest, I think there's a difference between that because I've had cakes that looked so beautiful. Yeah. And I'm like, man, and you know what? Maybe if the cake was ugly, I'd be okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
like
this cake is beautiful. So I'm thinking about how I'm about to undress this cake and tear it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm cutting this thing and I taste it. I'm like, hold on, fam. This is a Popeye's biscuit under this frosting. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a problem. Yeah. So, you know, you got to match. If you're going to be charging full price and what you charge, we respect the charge, right? But we also have an expectation that the product is going to taste like what we're paying.
100%.
So, yeah, I agree with that.
And on top of that, even when people don't say their palate isn't the same and they don't necessarily like how you handle that, you know, because a lot of people be like, no, I tasted it. I have some left over in the fridge. And, you know, it's like, no, because everyone's palate's different. I'm going to respect what you're telling me. Yes, I do want to see if you threw it away. I do want to see a photo of you throwing it away. So I can at least be able to, you know, match that. But at the same time, you know, a lot of small business owners take it to offense. But it's like, no, not everyone's gonna love your product. No. Not everyone's gonna love you. Yeah. Because you know, it could be you could love my product, but sometimes you might not even like the person that it's coming from. Man. So there's a lot that plays into it. So that's why for me, it's that's why even when things don't go right, or even when customers come to me, I try to do my best to take care of the customer. Because at the end of the day, I do want you to be satisfied. You're paying good amount of money. I want to make sure that you're satisfied. I want to make sure that your guests were satisfied. Because sometimes you can love the cake and your guests don't. And then all of a sudden you don't love the cake, and then you know what I'm saying?
You've been influenced.
Yeah. So there's a lot that plays a part in that. But, you know, I think you just got to take it with a grain of salt. Okay.
That's good. That's good. How important do you think customer service is to your business?
Man, customer service in general, you could have the best. You could outwin an order based off your customer service.
Come on, fam. Yeah.
You could and the thing about it is, a lot of people are going to multiple people to get quotes. I'm not the only one that they reach out to. I'm pretty sure they have Susie and Anna in the messages too that they're waiting on quotes from. But the way that you handle it, how fast are you? You know, even when you aren't fast, sorry for the delay. Even saying sorry for the delay. Oh wow, okay, she was busy. Okay. Yeah. And you know, and a lot of customers are very patient. A lot of them are. There's some that aren't. And hey, you know, you kind of have to understand that it's a one-person show. You have to be a little patient when you're reaching out to somebody who isn't at a bakery where you could just walk into and place an order. So customer service is, and there's a lot of people who will be like, wow, like, thank you so much. Like, we're not going with you, but thank you so much for being quick to respond. Thank you so much for, you know, providing, because even if they don't order with me, I'll say, wow, I look forward to working with you in the future. Yep. Because then even after that order, they're like, girl, we don't even want whoever you order. Can we let's try it. Yep. Because it's all about how you handle things, and it's all about your attitude. But if you hate what you do, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, she ain't go with me. Well then, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's gonna go with you, and that's okay. Not everyone's gonna fit my budget. Every clientele is you know, not everybody is for you. You have your own clientele as well. But at the same time, you should treat everybody accordingly. You don't treat one person just because they're your loyal customer versus somebody. Don't get me wrong. I may be able to be more flexible with you because we have this understanding, this bond. But at the same time, the customer service is still going to be the same all around the board.
That's good. So, folks, if you're watching, if you're starting your business, if you're starting your restaurant, right, and you got customers, you got to treat them right. You got to treat everybody the same. Got to keep a smile on your face. Sometimes they're going to tell you some stuff that you don't want to smile about, right? But even in those moments, you got to smile. I tell people all the time that you can have a mediocre product and exceptional customer service, and the people that have an exceptional product with bad customer service, you'll beat them every time.
Yeah.
People like to be served.
Yeah.
And when you have a business, you become a servant.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we get into business because it's about clout. It's because it's about my name.
Or they get to a certain level and they think that they're not supposed to serve no
Come
more.
on.
Hold on.
You always
I'm still the one
serving.
that was serving back in 2020.
Yes.
Some things have changed. You can always alter a recipe. You can't alter your attitude.
That's
your
right.
character. You can't alter your integrity. You can't alter, if you know a customer's lying, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that do take integrity to have.
And sometimes you got to take an L.
Man.
Sometimes you know your product was the bomb and they complaining about it. But because it's business, you got to say, you know what? I'm willing to take an L and make it right just because you said it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's integrity and that's character. And sometimes because you got to bite your tongue on those moments because you know, nah, you tripping, fam. But you know what? I'm going to do this because, you know what, really? You had a bad experience?
Yeah.
I apologize about this. Anything that we could have done to make it better? Okay, thank you. We're going to apply that going forward. But for you, next time you come, we're going to do A, B, or C for you. And that's how you handle that situation.
9 times out of 10, they come back.
Yeah.
Come on, just because you handled it a certain way.
Yep.
A lot of people will say, like, and it's a stigma within small business that I want to support my own culture, my own minority, my own race. And man, the customer service is off. And hey, you know what? I've seen it, and I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
So and I think I don't want to say we have a lot to prove because we're not gonna prove nothing to nobody. You're gonna end up loving it or you're not. But at the same time, how you handle certain situations that come up, but also just loving what you do, it's gonna tell off. You may have a bad day, and when you talk to a customer and y'all start to talk, y'all don't even talk about the cake. Forget the cake.
Right. Now
I'm talking about you. Now we talking about like, oh, well, you know what? Do you want to go get some coffee?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the relationship. A lot of people just, always want the money, want the recognition, want the clout, like you said. But you don't realize more money comes more responsibility.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want more money, no responsibility.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not easy.
Man, that's why even my dad was like, something got to give. You can't be doing all this. If you need to hire somebody to clean your house, hire somebody to clean your house. You don't even have the time to clean your house. If you need to hire somebody to do X, Y, Z, deliver, do that.
Yep.
Because you have to realize you have to take something off your plate.
Because you're growing.
Add something, right?
And you're growing.
Yeah.
So you're not who you were in 2020 anymore. So you got to say, hey, I got to look at this now. I'm making more money, but I also have more responsibility.
1,000%.
And guess what? There's only one of me.
Right.
So now that there's only one of me, what can I do now? How can I expand? How can I grow? How can I duplicate so that I got now 2 of me or at least 1.5 of me? Right. You know what I mean? So you can go deliver all you want. You come in here, I'm going to teach you how to make some of these recipes because you're in an industry right now where you're paying yourself.
Man.
So me as an entertainer, I was just sick a couple weeks ago, right? So I had to doctor myself up so I can make it to my events. Right. Because guess what? Ain't no 401k. There's no insurance. Yeah. If I don't show up, I don't get paid. If you don't make that cake, you don't get paid. So it's like you have to be able to say, okay, how can I duplicate myself? So I have a list of people that I can say, hey, if I can't make it, I can still send somebody. So at least my business looks good. Even if I don't benefit from it that way, people will say, well, you know what? Something happened to him, but he sent somebody in and they were great.
Man.
You know what I mean?
That's why it's so important. Sorry, I mean.
No, you good.
That's why it's so important to build your team. And for me, I'm not gonna lie, God's working on me. I don't really have the best trust. I don't trust because nobody's gonna take care of your business the way you take care of your business, the way you love your business. Nobody's just gonna walk in and you know what I'm saying. But slowly but surely, I'm building my team. Shout out to Brooklyn. She did my content creation, and she's just been somebody that I could also just reach out to and be like, hey sis, you know what? I just feel like a heaviness. Do you mind praying for me? Yeah. Do you know how special that is to be able to call somebody and say, sis, I'm really not feeling it. Do you mind just praying for me real quick? Yeah. That prayer could change your whole day around, and people will just just don't even think about it. So it's stuff like that I'm like, wow, like, okay, like, and it's funny because we've been meeting up before I even told her that I wanted to add her to my team. Yeah. We were meeting up and I just felt like God was like, add her to the team. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you be thinking it's you. Yeah. But it's like, nah, like, you can't do everything by yourself. You can't build an empire just by you.
Cannot.
And even though I would love to, it won't work that way. Yeah. It wasn't meant to work that way. Because somebody else could come in and see a whole different perspective. And now Like, even when we dropped my first video, my content video, where she came with me to the city, and we did a whole video of my whole dessert spread. That video took off, and she edited and everything. And it's like, but if I would have done it, it's like sometimes it's like a humbling moment. Like, I can't take the full credit for this, and that's okay. That's I don't want to take the full credit because she showed out. She did what she's good at. You know, everybody plays a part in the empire. Don't think that you're gonna build it just by yourself.
That's good.
And I had to be humble about that, because sometimes I'm like, God, I just want to be able to do everything. And it's like, no, you're not meant to do everything. You need different people. You need to be able to, you know, be able to be a leader. How can you be a leader? Ain't nobody to lead.
You just preach.
Come on, talk to me.
I hope y'all keep that clip.
I'm just being.
That's a clip.
Honest. You can't. you can't build certain characteristics if you're not even in place or in situations to build it. Just like there's some people who are like, I'm praying for patience. Little do you know, God actually sent events to happen in your life so that it will test you for your patience. But you thinking God just give it to me. He's not going to just give it to you. You got to actually just walk, and he's going to actually put you in different situations that are going to test you. And I've been tested. Ha! I've been tested 3 years. I've been tested.
She said, I've been tested, baby.
Come on, tested.
And I failed every one.
Capital caps.
I failed every test. Help me, Lord.
Man. But it's you know, it's a learning experience, but you know, it's nice. Yeah. It's nice to have something off your plane and be like, man, I ain't even got to worry about that. Let me just text Berkeley. Let me see what she's doing. Is she working on it? Man, do you know how nice that is?
It feels good.
While I'm over here
especially when you can trust the person that's doing it.
Man. Yeah. And that's the thing, like picking them wisely. I feel like everybody's like, oh, you're good at that? Add to my team. Hold on, they don't even like you. And you trying to add them to your team.
That's for real, and you don't even know it.
Man, what? Yeah. Or they're like a low-key hater. They're a friend, but a hater. They you know, they're good with you being down here, and then when you start to take off, then it's like, oh, or like they're sending shots, and it's like, what you mean? Why are you sending shots? You supposed to be my friend.
That jealousy show up. Yeah. Success will definitely weed jealousy, all type of nonsense. So you got to keep your eyes open. I think when you think about all of this, there's always going to be kind of a jagged road to success when you're trying to start something and you're trying to be successful in it. But you have to be ready, and you have to know who you are to stay composed in those moments, to continue to be yourself in those moments. Don't let those situations get you out of character or move you away from the vision that you first had, right? God gave you in the first place. You have to stick with that vision. So when you know that God, you gave this to me, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not going to deter myself from that road just because of the turns that happen on the way. You know, so yeah, that's good.
And also be okay to fail. I feel like so many people wanna just reach a certain level of quote unquote success, and they don't want to fail. They don't want to take no L's. They don't want, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to do the, you know, like even this week alone, I stayed up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, 2-3 days in a row, and nobody will see that. I'm not gonna be over here like, oh, I stayed up. That's what comes with producing product like this. That's what comes with, you know, having a certain level of, you know, I my service is up here, so I have to do harder work. I have to do more than the next person. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to fail. I failed so many times, but it's the fact of how do you handle the failure and then moving forward. A lot of people fail and then give up and then just forget about it.
Yeah.
God didn't take it. God didn't give you something and be like, oh, you know what? Matter of fact, wrong person. Take it back. Right. It's like he gave it to you.
You got to persevere through those moments. You got to keep working. Yeah. You got to say, what's the root cause? What happened here? Yeah. And then what's the solution? How do I fix it going forward? Yeah. Those are the things you look at. Look at the reason and look at how I fix it and keep it moving. Man. Get up, dust yourself off. Let's go. We get better from the challenges. We get better from the mistakes. Yeah. So I got a question. Victoria's Desserts in 5, 10, 20 years. Yeah. How does it look?
You know what? That's funny because I actually had a couple friends ask me that. I want to say 2 friends asked me that recently. And within 5 years, you know, a lot of people be like, I want to own my own bakery. I want to own my own location. Honestly, I don't want to be confined to a location. I want to be able to be personable of what I love to do. I want to be able to go to your events. I want to be able to be a part of something greater than me. And I feel like a lot of times people be like, I want to make, you know, $200,000 by. No, I want to be able to make enough money or even more money than I was even thinking so I could be a blessing to somebody.
Yeah.
So I could say, you know, I could see a need and be able to fill it. Like if I were in conversation, because man, when I tell you my life, there's so many things that happen that I'm like, God, you're funny. Where it's like, you know, somebody will tell me a need. Can you imagine somebody being or somebody that you're close to or that you know, you're sitting down, coffee, eating, and they're telling you they don't even know how they're gonna get their next meal. They're telling you that it's been rough. We're tired. I really even shouldn't even be out here eating with you, but you know, I'm doing it because I know that God's gonna provide. And then you'll be like, you know, well, how much you need? Be like, you know, like $5,000 here. I'm actually gonna write a check.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? And not have to check your bank account either. Not have to pull up all the apps and see where you're gonna pull it from, and just being like, you know what, God laid it on my heart to provide for you. Man, and a lot of people don't see it that way. So I feel like within the next 5 years, I want what God wants for me. I feel like a lot of times we put our own needs and our own desires before what He has, because He knows what you want.
Yeah.
He knows you want all the you know name brand. He knows you want that new car.
Right.
He knows your desires of your heart. But when you follow Him, He adds to it.
Come on.
He adds to it, because like even with my house, I wasn't even supposed to get the house. To be honest with you, I wasn't ready to be a homeowner in my head. I was okay with renting. But my dad was just kind of persistent on it. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm the last one out of all 3 siblings to get property. So I'm like, okay. Wow. And literally that house, it's so funny because when I first walked in, I was like, man, I don't want this house. Like, you know, because I had 3 other houses lined up. And Alyssa Pimentel, she could.
What up, Alyssa?
Man,
Lake County Media Group
that's
song.
I'd recommend. But no, she was like, you know what? We have 3 other houses we're gonna check out. Came back to that house. Looked at those houses. Didn't really care for them. Went back to that house, and I was like, you know what? It felt like home. Like I felt like I could make it work. And it's so funny. Sometimes you need a second look at something.
Yep.
Sometimes you need to come back to something. Sometimes it may not have worked the first time, but maybe if you just come back a second time and look at it again, sometimes you'll see a different perspective. Yeah. So even from there, I was like, you know what? It was okay. We're gonna put a bid in, and I called my dad. I'm crying. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, how am I gonna do this? I'm like, you know, I've never done this before. He's like, just give it the best you got. Yeah. Give it the best offer that you could offer. I'm like, okay. Wow. So I gave it the best offer, and there was around, Alyssa could vouch for me, there was around 7 or 8 buyers, because this was when it was a seller's market and not a buyer's market. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm giving the best offer I could give. And when I tell you, same day she called, she said, you got the house. She texted me. I could even pull up the text message because I was actually looking at it the other day. And she was like, you got the house. And I'm like, are you being serious? She's like, yes, you got the house. And there's different things like that. I didn't have all this capital. I didn't have a co-signer. I didn't have different people pouring into the house. It was me. Like, I put the down payment. I put the closing costs. Yeah. I did the renovations on the kitchen that took almost $10,000. I did that, you know? But I can't take all the credit, because God is the one that led me to that. That's good. Because when something's for you, it don't matter if there's 20,000 buyers. It's going to always be for you.
Come on, fam.
You know? So, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to preach.
It ain't Sunday, but you can preach today.
I don't mean to preach, but I'm telling you, if He could do it for me, He could do it for you. Yeah. And I know so many times people hear that and be like, oh, that's cliche. But it's the truth. It's such a truth, because I wouldn't be able to sit here today and be like, I'm a homeowner for almost 2 years by myself. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a spouse. I don't have all this, you know? And that's the thing. A lot of people feel like you need all of this to be able to. You don't. Sometimes you just need to go. Yeah. You just need to walk. You just need to walk. Even when I, being in Euphoria Cafe, that, shout out to them, that I do desserts on Saturday mornings. Okay. There was two other owners that I was going to put my product in. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, you know what? I don't know, something just didn't feel right. It's not them. It was just something, something was off. I felt like maybe I was rushing or I was doing too much. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, no, let me just sit back. Ended up going to Euphoria Cafe. And as I'm placing the order, she's like, oh my gosh, she's like the owner. When the owners recognize me, she's like, oh my God, don't you bake? And I was like, yeah, I do bake, And she was like, well, do you do wholesale? And I was like, yeah, I do wholesale. She was like, well, do you mind? We would love to see what you could, provide, because we've been looking for somebody who does wholesale. Wow. But had I not gone into the cafe, had I not walked, had I not even been moving, God can't direct you if you ain't moving. Right. You standing still, He telling you to make a left and you standing. It parked at that. Wow. So it's just, some things, a lot of people will be like, it's coincidence. I'm sorry, that's too much. That's too specific to be coincidence. And and it works out well. It works out. It flows. I work really well with them. Things come natural. Sometimes when you forcing it, like it's too much. Like you're kind of just at a how do I explain it? You just don't. It's just not comforting. Yeah. When you're doing too much and you're forcing, like
toiling.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's just too much where I really do need to have like some type of my own video in the scenes of like, if he could do it for me and I don't have all of this, I didn't have all this back in 2020. All I had was a passion and I just moved on it. That's all I did. I didn't have all this extra. So sometimes you don't need the extra. Sometimes you just need you. Whew. Come on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't
you just said a mouthful right there. Sometimes you just need you. Shout out Euphoria Cafe.
Yes.
Okay, shout y'all
Love them. Boom.
Yes. So you can get your pastries on Saturdays?
Yeah, Saturday mornings. Usually when they open before 9 a.m. Because I won't be there right when they open. I'm sorry. I'm not.
That ain't happening.
I'm already doing other stuff.
But you can come and get some. So about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Come on. Get your cake, get your cupcakes. Come on. And I don't even know what's in here. You might be able to get some of this, okay? We're going to come back to that in just a moment. So if people want to get in contact with you, they want to order from you. They're like, hey, I need one of them Victoria cakes, Joe. Where do they go?
Yeah, so I usually do a lot of my business on my Instagram page, VR Bakery 24, like Kobe. And you could just either send me a message or in my bio, I have a link for my order form. So you could just fill out the order form and I'll be in contact with you within 24 hours.
Listen, so we about to find out.
Yeah. Authentic.
If what y'all about to order from my girl Victoria is going to be good.
Yeah, because you never tried none of this. You ain't never tried
I ain't tried none of these.
I think one of them.
I got something, a variation of something before, right?
Yeah.
So we met last year.
Yeah.
On
accident.
At a networking event.
On accident.
And we just kind of bumped into each other. I think she was talking to one of my guys, and I just kind of jumped in the conversation because I seen she had gave him a spoonful or something.
Yeah. And I wasn't even supposed to give my cake jar. Okay, honestly, funny story. But when I went, somebody asked me, like, oh, you're a baker. Do you have any product? And I'm like, nah, like I wasn't thinking it was that type of event. And then, but in my head, I'm like, I do got that cake jar in my purse. I say for myself. And I'm like, dang, do I really want to share it with people? Because I was saving it for me. Because, as a baker, we have to have extras on the side just for us to even keep going. So I'm like, do I want to share it? Like, it's my favorite flavor. But something was like, just share it. I was like, man. I'm like, y'all got spoons? And then that's where you came. Or a few of them tried it. Then you came.
I came for sure.
And then some other people, the cake jar was gone. And there was like 3 people who came up to me.
The cake jar was passed around, fam. Muzz was taking the spoon, like, you take try this. Try this. I wouldn't have got a spoon, like, babe, try this. Like, man, and it was fire. So I'm glad we're here today because I got all of this to myself. Come on, God.
Yeah, and his wife. Come on. With the wife
I got all,
No.
No. This don't say Big Drew's and his wife's reviews. That ain't what that say. This say Big Drew's food reviews. My wife ain't got nothing. Praise the Lord. This is for me. What God has for me is for me. You hear me? All right, so
I'm not about to play.
We about to try this, so tell me, you got multiple flavors you brought us today. So what do you have? You can pick them up and everything. I know they're looking pretty right now. Yeah. But let them know what you got.
Is key.
What we got right here?
So this is my personal favorite. Okay. This is Snickers. Okay. So it's a chocolate cake with a peanut butter buttercream, caramel, and peanuts for texture. So this is me. Like if I'm going through a long baking day, that's what I'm gonna have in my purse.
This is fire. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what I got right here?
This is a vanilla bean cake with strawberry buttercream and pieces of strawberry. So this is for the lovers who are like vanilla, but they love the strawberry. This is for you.
I'm gonna go here first. What you got right here?
You know what? That's the same thing.
Okay.
The only difference is this one has vanilla buttercream and strawberry, like a strawberry compote with pieces of strawberry. Versus this one is the strawberry buttercream and pieces of strawberry.
So this got strawberries in it, y'all, and it's healthy.
Hey.
What about this one?
It's healthy for the soul. This is for my red velvet. This is for my red velvet lovers. This is red velvet cake, Oreo buttercream, and then pieces of Oreo. Oh. Yeah.
This is the one. Yeah. This is the one.
This is my bestseller, in this one too. This is a chocolate cake with Oreo buttercream. So
Praise
these
the
two
Lord.
right here are my best sellers, and this one's adding on because there's a lot of chocolate lovers in Lake County.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me not talk about the red velvet bites. If you know, then you
That's
know.
what that
My people
is?
looking like we already know what that
Hey,
is.
I wasn't even ready for you to say what they was. Don't even say nothing else about them yet. This is the last thing, okay? But we're going to start because I'm about to start tasting this stuff, y'all.
Yeah.
So this right here is your favorite.
Yes.
The Snicker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we fill it to the top.
Y'all need to get a
We don't
close-up.
skim this
You need to
way.
get a close-up. You got to see how that thing came off. You got
We
to
don't
get a
skim.
close-up of that thing. Like, here, get up off of that thing. Ooh,
God.
look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
We love it.
Whoa.
We don't skim. You know, some places you go and they be
Yes.
skimming. So when you eat it, you're gonna dig in. You gotta get.
I got to dig all the way in.
Yeah.
Okay, all the way in that
So
joint.
get some of the peanuts,
listen.
the caramel.
And you gotta talk to your food, okay?
You do.
I say things to your food like, "Have you ever been swallowed up?"
Oh, jeez. How you did it? Hey, talk to me. I told you. I tried to tell you. I warned you. I did warn you. I did give a disclaimer. I warned you.
Listen here. Listen here. Fam, Snicker gonna sue you. They gonna want all their money.
Hey.
This thing right here, player. Victoria, you don't do this to fat people. Girl, I said I was gonna share with y'all. I play spades. I'm a renege. Oh my God. That's fire.
Period.
Oh my God. And you know what I like about it? I can't even say this on camera. Pause. Because I like peanuts. And the texture of the peanuts with the caramel in this joint, with the chocolate, with the... That's crazy, fam. That's crazy.
I'm so glad you like it.
Now, this is the one with the healthy strawberries.
Not the healthy.
Yeah. Strawberries are good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know my trainer is probably watching
Right.
this right now. If you are, God bless you. Girl. Oh my God. We 2 for 2, player. We 2 for 2. Lord.
And you sure you ain't gonna just give none to your wife? Like absolutely none. So when y'all get married, don't y'all become one?
Yeah.
Or is that not a thing?
That's what the Bible say. Everybody don't listen to all the
Jesus.
Bible.
Oh my God.
All right, here we go. Here y'all go. Y'all want some of this? I know y'all do. I'm finna get me an OnlyFans. Ain't got no OnlyFans with fat people eating food.
Hey.
We gonna make some money.
Yes. Come on.
On wow.
Somebody got to have it.
Wow. Fat people eating food. On wow.
Not the thing.
Wow. Fat people eating
Got the
good food.
theme song. Now
telling
you got a
you.
picked out theme song already. My God.
Now this is my one. This is the one I tasted before. This is the red velvet with the Oreo in that joint. Some people don't know that red velvet is really chocolate cake.
It is. Colored.
That's the secret. We just bust somebody's bubble right there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I've never been a big chocolate cake person, but my auntie Frida, I love her, Joe. My auntie Frida made the best red velvet cake, fam. So for you to do the remix right here,
Come on.
listen to my auntie Frida. I love you and I miss you.
It's stuff like that when it could bring back the childhood memories. Like, you ain't gonna bring back to no childhood memory when your stuff is nasty.
Hey, you sure ain't. But this thing right here took me to my childhood memory, took me back to my childhood weight, everything.
Lord.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna be real with y'all.
Which one is your favorite?
This is my favorite. I'm a red velvet everything. When they remember they started a couple years ago coming out with red velvet everything. I was buying everything red velvet. I got red velvet seasoning, everything, y'all. Number one for me. Snickers is number two. This was fire.
I tried. Orange.
This is my number three. I love the strawberry frosting, and this is my number. Really, they're all fire. I'm just telling you my favorites, okay?
Period.
So the red velvet and the Snicker though, they're my two. If I'm making an order, I'm like, give me 50 of them.
Come on.
Right now. Right now, I need those. But we got one more thing to try though, Victoria.
These are my best-selling.
Best-selling.
These are my sell out every time I make them. Are red velvet.
Shit about a Hyundai, but about a Hyundai.
These are my red velvet Oreo bites.
Shout
out to Brooklyn.
You see these?
Shout out to Brooklyn.
Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? We in here.
Come on. So Brooklyn actually tagged me in red velvet brownies on Facebook.
Girl, this got gold sprinkles.
I know. Come on, because if you know, then you know. That's my signature. If it ain't had no edible gold on it, it's not mine. So if it doesn't, hey. But
24 karat magic in the air. Let's go.
Lord. But these are my red velvet brownies. I put Oreo pieces in them, drizzle with white chocolate, sprinkle with Oreo with my edible gold.
You said edible gold.
Edible gold.
Girl, if I had a neck, I would take all this gold and make a necklace. You hear me? Ooh, girl, it feels so. Get you one. Come on, let's do a toast.
Come on, talk to me.
Get you one. Toast. You know, when black people eat good food, they cuss. I don't cuss, though. Hey.
Okay, it's a standard.
Boy, you know what I'm going to do? I'm finna wrap this up, take this to my wife like a gift.
Let me
I'm finna say, baby, I was thinking about you. Oh, this is going to put me, I'm going to be out the doghouse today. Fire. So listen.
So you finna share any of them?
I'm going to wrap it up and give it to my wife. Like, babe, I was thinking about you. I've been thinking about you.
That is a great gift to give your spouse.
This is. So listen, we got Valentine's Day coming up. What you doing?
You know what? I was actually gonna bring some stuff. Got booked out with orders, but
fail.
I'm gonna do like mini heart-shaped cakes. I can't tell y'all exactly. It's been like there's this like trending heart-shaped cake an idea that I'm gonna bring to fruition. So we're gonna do heart-shaped cakes. I want to do like a box that has like strawberries, that has cupcakes, that has a variety of different things. And usually I would make like my cheesecake or my brownie bites. So you're just gonna have to stay tuned for that. That'll be dropping next week.
Coming. So make sure you go on her social media. Follow her. Because that's how you're gonna find out if it drop. And listen, I always catch your post. That's what I'm finna tell you. I always catch your post when you say, oh, y'all, I'm sold out. I'm like, come on, fam. And look, it's certain people out here, because I am Big Drew, I could call them when they say they done. I'll be like, I know you got something extra for me, though, fam. And they be like, yeah. She ain't never got nothing. When she say she sold out, fam, she sold out.
Even
you know
from
what I'm saying?
Edges. When you make a brownie pan, you got the edges. I be sold out from the edges. My people, my OG customers, they already know. They're like, you got the edges? I'll be like, yeah.
Listen, well, don't worry, girl. There's a whole lot of women in Lake County ain't got no edges, too. Don't worry about that. She ain't got the... You ain't the only one that ain't got no edges for people. You ain't the only one.
No, you didn't. But,
I'm just saying.
Everything. So you got to be honest. So when I say, usually when I post, I'll say I'm posting at this time, and my people are on it. So please be on it.
So listen,
man, I'm already at capacity when I make certain stuff at a certain amount. So please.
Well, you definitely got a customer in me.
Okay.
Because this is fire. So listen, y'all. We heard a couple things. One thing I heard today that was really important was identity, vision, identity, knowing who you are, knowing what you're supposed to do, knowing what God placed on the inside of you to do. Right. That's what we're talking about today. So you got to know your identity when you get into this game. Otherwise, you're going to be moving all types of different directions, and it's going to be hard for you. Not saying you can't be successful, not saying you won't be successful, but saying that if you don't know who you are, if you're not grounded in what God has for you to do, you're going to go through a lot of trial seasons, okay?
Stuff that you didn't have to go through.
Didn't have to go through, all right? You don't want to tell that story. You got people like Victoria. You got other people that are going to be on this show telling their stories, that are going to tell you what they've been through.
Yeah.
So you can have an easier way to get to where they are, okay? So we want to see that today. So, Victoria, I enjoyed you.
No, same. And it's your first show.
It's my first show. Number one.
So anybody else who's on this show, I was the first one.
She was the first one.
Special place in the heart.
This is, we here, baby, the foundation. Listen, I just want to tell you, we bless everything that you're doing.
No, thank you.
Thank you for sharing your gift with us and just what you learned from your grandmama and taking that and turning that passion into something that we get to benefit from.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I see you in the future. I don't know if you're already doing this or not, but you're going to be doing a lot of speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have a platform to be speaking and motivating people into what they want to do.
You know what? That's funny.
Yeah.
You're funny because, actually, I was going to drop it next week. I'm doing a podcast.
Well, bam.
I love, because my people know, like, I think it's just when you've been through something, like, you can understand me better if I've been through it and I'm telling you. Versus I ain't been through it. And that's like telling an addict to stop an addiction. And you ain't went through it. How you even know the troubles or what they're going through, or even a sliver of what they're going through?
Yeah.
So I am gonna be making my podcast. I was supposed to make it in September.
Okay.
But you know what? Things happen. But it's still coming back. And it's funny because you're not the only one. Like 3 people this week.
Yeah.
My people are like, when you doing that podcast? Do you even mention
It's
it?
confirmation, G.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. But it's coming soon.
Okay. Well, we're going to be waiting. Well, everybody, you have been introduced. If you didn't already know, my sister right here, Victoria Desserts, y'all. Listen, follow her on everything. You'll see it all on the screen, her logos, all of her tags and everything. Please make sure you follow her. Please make sure you shop with her, y'all. You won't be disappointed. I'm telling y'all. Right here. If I didn't have to share some of this stuff, I'd still be eating it right now. I'm just trying to tell y'all. So I want to thank you guys for watching the first show, the first podcast, the first Big Drew's Food Reviews podcast, y'all. Shout out the Lake County Media Group. Shout out True Conglomerate Studios. We out.